to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio, a 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler. I'm your host. I'm a Silver Fox advisor as well as the founder of OneBestConsult.com. Appreciate you taking time to join us today. I think we've lined up a great show for you today, and I want to start off right from the top and talk about what's the first question today, and give you something hopefully to think about. Are you doing the right things to keep your employees? Difficult times to find people, to hire people, and it's also very difficult for a lot of businesses to keep people. So my question again, are you doing the right things to keep your employees? Now, if you're losing employees at a big rate, then you know you're not. But several things just when I was looking at this idea, and I've had a lot of questions, as you can imagine, over the last 6 months or so about how can I keep these people? They quit. They get a job that pays them 20, 30, 50% more. Can't do anything about that. But there's several things I think you need to be able to do, and I find so many small businesses are not doing it. First is check the market. What are people doing the job that you have getting paid? Now, this is not hard to do. I mean, you can go online and there are resources, but just talk to people. Talk to businesses. You've got to know another business owner or two, which is an important part of that relationship building we talk about from time to time. See what the market is. I mean, right now, I've been told in this area of the country, Montgomery County, Harris County, Houston, Texas, people are getting paid $20 to load and unload trucks for some of these big companies. You need to keep that in mind, particularly for your lower wage employees, obviously. Another area, benefits. Make sure you have a good benefit package. Yes, it costs money. And yes, as small business, we approach that issue, I believe, from the back end. We start with how much money it's going to cost and then go. But select benefits that appeal to the people you're trying to hire and keep. And last but not least, obviously, is communication. Make sure you're doing everything you can to communicate and build that relationship with your employees. They're not just coming, punching the clock, doing a job, punching the clock, going home. I know a lot of businesses in the past that have done that. They knew who they were, but that was about it. They spent no time trying to build a positive relationship on the job with their employees. So I encourage you, check the wage structure in your area, check that you're giving benefits that fit the people you're hiring. And 3, make sure you're communicating with people, talking with them, building a relationship. As the old saying used to go, show them that you care. Well, I want to remind you that the show today is being broadcast live as we speak on Facebook Live. You can go to the Weekly Business Hour page, click on it, and you can watch as well as listen to the show. And also, if you have a question, if you have a comment about the show, or you got a business question in your own business and would like to get some feedback, drop us a line. It's simple. Email it to that's the number 1, bestconsult@gmail.com. That's bestconsult@gmail.com. We'd love to get questions. In fact, we're going to do the mailbag today. A wonderful question, that email that came in this past week. So please do let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you need us to talk about and offer you consideration on. Well, here we go. Best part of the show. Introduce our business guest. Today we have a local entrepreneur. She and her husband have taken on a franchise, all new to it. Tanya Pederson, who is the owner of Line X, is the name of the business of Conroe. She's here today to talk about her business and what brought her to the Conroe area to start her business, she and her husband. Tanya, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, you and I were sharing some things before the show started. I mean, you and your husband are really new business owners.
Yes, sir. We've been open almost 6 months.
Well, that's the first 6 months, right? If you make it, you're going to do
Yes,
all right.
yes, and it's been getting better and better every month. So we're getting the hang of things. People are learning about us. Our name's starting to get out there. So yeah, we're excited.
One of the things when you open a business, and you alluded to this in our earlier conversation, there's always certain challenges that, they almost become potential roadblocks. What was the biggest challenge you all had in opening your business?
Probably the biggest challenge is time. We were coming off of COVID and all of that stuff, and the economy hasn't been the best, and inventory for vehicles and stuff has been hard to come by. So trying to grow a truck accessory business whenever inventory is low has been a challenge. But with time, permits were done and the building was complete. We started from basically a metal building and did the complete build out. So that took a lot of time. We didn't get to open as soon as we wanted to, but we are here now and we live here now and we are loving it.
That's fantastic. Now, you mentioned it has been somewhat challenging to get the parts, the inventory you need for your business. Is that as much a challenge today as it was 6 months ago?
No, and it's not so much the inventory for us, it's actually new trucks. Like the car dealerships and stuff didn't have as many vehicles on the lot as what they normally did because of all the shipping issues and everything related from the backlash of COVID. But shipping has kind of been an issue in some inventory. Some really popular things like bumpers and stuff like that, they're specialty made, are difficult to get, but we are able to get most of what we need, probably a little bit easier than some of the other people. So,
we need to back up just a moment. Tell us what Line X is. I sort of got ahead of things.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. That's fine.
So tell us what it is that you sell or offer in your business.
So Line X of Conroe is a bed liner business and full automotive upfitting needs. So Line X is a franchise, but it's not a corporate store. We are family owned and operated. My husband and I own it. Our kids help whenever they can. But Line X is a franchise that is known for bed liners and protectants, but not just bed liners. They actually created something called PaxCon that is in the Pentagon that's a blast-resistant protectant. So we have a lot more than just bed liners. But we can do custom work and stuff for people as well. Boats, marine stuff, golf carts. I mean, you want it sprayed, we can pretty much spray and protect it. But we also do full accessories. So everything from new wheels and tires, suspension lift kits, to tonneau covers, bumpers. We just did a police officer's new truck with LED flashers and toolbox system and all that kind of stuff. So we're kind of a one-stop shop.
And you mentioned earlier that the shortage of new car inventory has hurt your business. Now, how does that directly impact you?
Well, I mean, if people can't get their truck, we get a lot of phone calls asking about prices and what we do. And I'm like, do you want to get on the books? And I'm like, well, I got to get my truck first. It's on order. We're waiting on it. But it has gotten better. We've seen a lot more vehicles on the lots. The fleet vehicles are coming back in. That's something else that we do also as well. We can upfit like electricians' trucks, plumbers' trucks, that kind of stuff. We can do all the shelving and the ladder racks and all that kind of stuff for them as well. But we're seeing a lot more of that on the lots. But it is kind of funny that because there's not new inventory, people are really trying to take care of their older trucks. And so we're seeing a lot of older trucks as well to get protected and new accessories.
That's interesting. And because the market, obviously, the last couple of years, buying a new vehicle has been an unbelievable challenge for so many.
Well, and the changes with travel, a lot of people are traveling domestically now with RVs and stuff like that, and that's just something else that we do, hitches and towing packages and stuff like that.
So you actually will do the towing package to tow their car behind their RV?
Yes, sir.
I saw one of those today. It really looks slick the way they did it, so that's very interesting. Y'all offer a real large line of products and services.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
It's very wide.
And it's all vehicle specific too. So when you think, I want a bumper. well, I can't just get a bumper for any truck and it fit yours. I have to have the year, the make, the model, so it takes a little bit of digging to get exactly what you want, but we get it. Yeah.
That's interesting. So are you the one who orders those specific parts?
I am most of the time. Yeah. I am. When you come in, I'm the one that's going to talk to you, check you in, check your vehicle, schedule appointments. I get on the computer with you and we look up to figure out what it is you want. And if I can get it, which usually it's not a problem, we get most of our things next day. So.
It's interesting as I sit here and think about that, because I've had to deal with some of that, not with vehicles lately, but trying to find a particular part. And it was a little bit of a challenge to find somebody who had it. But without that computer, without the technology, where would your business be?
Oh, it would be a lot of phone calls, assuming there were phones. But because everything's, most of our stuff comes from like Dallas and Fort Worth and out of state. So, but we're lucky that we're so close to Houston. There are a lot of hubs. We do have 5 major distributors, so we're able to get a lot of stuff. But as far as if I didn't have a computer, we have catalogs. I pull those out sometimes because, I was a teacher, so I like the whole physical feel of a book, So, but yeah. That's
amazing. Catalogs are still around. Yeah, I can just see here flipping through the catalog, trying to find the right part number, then having to write up an order. And maybe fax it if, that we had, or mail it, I guess, or call it in. And
yeah, it would definitely slow things down a bit.
Boy, isn't that amazing when you stop for a moment, think about those kind of issues.
Right.
Now, you chose to locate in Conroe.
We
As
did.
you told me, your family has property nearby, your parents live nearby, but you and your husband were down south of the city for a number of years. And what brought you to Conroe?
We had always planned to retire here, but my husband was in the refineries, and he was 5 years from retirement, and they came in and laid off a whole bunch of people. And so I was a teacher. I was a teacher for 20 years. And our kids were grown. We were no longer, because he no longer had that job, we weren't tied to being in Galveston County anymore. And so we just decided to go into business for ourselves. And we went ahead and did it up here because we wanted to live in this area. We'd planned on coming here eventually. We just were able to make it happen a little bit faster.
Yeah, well, it sort of just fit. That's very interesting with your future plans.
Yeah, and like our children live up here and stuff. Just coincidentally, my daughter's husband is from Willis, and they live in Conroe as well. So
you got the family and everything. Isn't that fantastic?
It's
wow.
awesome.
That's as good as I've ever heard.
This is the closest I've lived to my parents since I actually lived with them when I was a kid. So, yeah.
So that all works out as well.
Yeah, it does.
So you've been in business for 6 months. What's been the biggest challenge on a day-to-day basis once you open the doors? And
for me, personally, it has been a learning curve because, like I said, I was a teacher. My husband knows vehicles inside, outside, upside down. I have had to go back and become a student, and I have learned a whole lot in a very short amount of time. So, but luckily, because we started on this endeavor quite a while before we actually opened, I was able to do a lot of research and a lot of learning beforehand. So now it's more so learning how to finagle all of the online catalogs and making those relationships with the distributors and stuff like that. So.
Boy, that's exciting. I mean, really, and that's not unusual. People will start businesses, particularly will purchase a franchise and not have any background, direct background in whatever it is that they're going to be doing for the next 5, 10, 20 years.
Right. I mean, we didn't own a business, and my husband was in the refinery business, but he does have a degree in diesel mechanics. So he's always worked on cars, and he used to race cars and everything. So it's always been a part of his life. Just wasn't so much mine. But I love being in the front of the shop. I love meeting the customers, and I love learning. I've learned a lot.
6-month crash course, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
Well, overall, most businesses have a vision or a mission statement, they used to call them, business philosophy. What is your philosophy in your business?
So with it being the automotive industry, that's always kind of been more of a male-dominated industry. But when you go into a place, it always looks like a mechanic shop. And so we didn't want that. We wanted people to come in. I want women, men, people familiar with cars, people unfamiliar. If you have to bring your child, We want to make it just a very nice place for you to be, and we want to make it a good experience from beginning to end. So we have a nice waiting room. We put a lot of pride in our showroom and our shop. We have Wi-Fi and everything, so if you come in and you stay, I'm going to offer you coffee. I'm going to show you, I'm going to answer any questions you might have, walk you through the process of getting your truck sprayed or the accessories that you're wanting or whatever. I just really want the people to have a good experience. We want them to come in. We want them to have good work. We have a franchise, so it kind of comes with a certain reputation and a certain standard, but we want to go above and beyond that. We want our customers to want to come back, to be talking to their friends about us and stuff like that. So I want you to be able to come in, get what you want, get what you need, maybe something that you didn't know you needed, and have a nice experience. Kind of taken every bad retail experiences I've ever had and tried to make sure that none of that happens. I do callbacks, I follow up. My husband comes out and thanks people. We want it to be a good experience. So that's our philosophy.
So it's about the experience. That's interesting, particularly in the field you're in, the automotive field, to be the experience, like the car buying experience, so to speak.
Vehicles are expensive, and accessories are really expensive. And so you're trusting us to improve a vehicle. We're not just fixing it, we're modifying it, we're improving it. And so we want you to be happy with your choices and the way it looks and what we do for you. So we want to do good work, and we want you to leave happy, and we want your vehicle to look really good.
No, I hear what you're saying. You obviously have a great potential to have repeat business, so I think that's important.
We are seeing that, yeah.
That's great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here for a moment. Hope you'll stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to Tanya about the idea of how she markets her business. We've already heard the idea of referrals and repeat, so we'll talk to her. So if you'll please stay with us, we'll be right back with you.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Lone Star Boxer Rescue is a nonprofit organization serving Montgomery County and surrounding areas, dedicated to the health and well-being of the boxer breed. Lone Star Boxer Rescue is run and managed 100% by volunteers since 1999. Our main objective is to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome boxers that come to us from many sources, including local animal shelters, owner surrenders, and strays. For more information about Lone Star Boxer Rescue, visit our website at lsbr.org.
You are listening to the Weekly Business Hour. This is Rick Schissler. I'm your host, and we're here talking to Tanya Pederson. See, I got it right. I've been working at it. Everyone who listens to the show for the past 8 years will know that sometimes I get tongue twisted on names. And she and her husband own Line X of Conroe, which is a truck accessory business in a couple words. But boy, what all kinds of accessories for all kinds of vehicles. An amazing width and breadth of product, Tanya, that you all offer. We went to break. We were kind of touching on the marketing aspect. Okay, so you got the business, you built the building, you've got things in place, got through that battle. Now you've got to market your business. You got to advertise your business. What do you do to market your business?
Well, word of mouth, of course, is the best. But that takes time because people have to come to us, before we can do anything for them. But we do lots of social media, Facebook, Instagram especially. And we have a digital marketing company that works with us, and they helped us get all the Google My Business and stuff, all of that situated and everything, so that now whenever you Google truck accessories near me and stuff like that, you're going to find us. We've gotten lots of really good reviews from our customers, and I know that people read reviews, and so we appreciate those. But I mean, honestly, it's just getting our name out there any way we can. Now that we're living up here, we have a big truck that's got Line-X, all over it. It's completely, wrapped, and you'll see the yellow and black. So, say hi, come ask us a question, because we're out and about all the time now because we love this area.
Well, let me ask you now, you say you have a digital marketing company. Is that through the franchise
No.
or something you found on your own?
It was recommended. The company is familiar with Line-X.
Okay.
They work with a lot of Line-X's,
Gotcha.
but it's not a requirement of the franchise. It's very helpful. They've helped us out
that's
a lot.
fantastic because so many small businesses don't know where to find a resource.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. It's a third party finding to do that kind of work because
Mm-hmm.
it changes just constantly.
Well, and also one of the perks of it being a franchise is we do, like, if you go to Line-X's franchise and you can request online a quote or whatever, and it's going to feed it to us. Like, you'll find the closest one.
Right.
And
Well, currently you've been there for 6 months. Where are the biggest group of people who've come in to do business with you? Where are those leads coming from? Are they referrals, word of mouth, or
we're starting to get a lot more referrals now that we've been there for a little while. And some people just come in and say, "Oh, you're Line-X." We know what Line-X is. But a lot of our referrals come from, honestly, people Google truck accessories or bed liners, and that's how they'll find us.
So the digital marketing is important
It is. Mm-hmm.
for a new business. That's interesting, and I see that. And again, I'm encouraging all our listeners that have small businesses or thinking about it, don't overlook the digital marketing. I mean, we are all affected by it, but you need to invest some time and money in doing that digital marketing. There's just no doubt about it.
There is money involved, but it is one of those things that there are certain areas where they say you have to spend money to make money, and that really is one of them. I agree. I think so.
You have spoken both on and off the air about some of the challenges of getting the business open, getting permits, and you built a building, a metal building. If I was talking to you about starting a new business today, what are some of the recommendations so maybe I can avoid some of the pitfalls that you ran up against?
Oh, okay. So first off, whatever amount of money they tell you that you're going to need, double it at least, because it is expensive. And whenever you think you're going to open, whether it's going to be, like we were building from the ground up, it still took several months, probably close to half a year longer than we had anticipated, just because of the time it takes to get permits done. And like we had to have a spray booth built, and that's a custom thing. And they were so backed up because of steel supplies and all of that, it took them a few months. We just kind of sat around for a few months waiting on that to get done because we can't have a bedliner business without a spray booth. It takes longer. It's a slower process, and then getting your name out there is just difficult. And our building is on a somewhat new street. We kind of chose this spot, one, because it's a great building. PNS Properties built us an amazing building. We got to build it from basically almost the ground up and design it how we wanted. And then but it's on a new road. So we kind of thought future, this is going to be a very popular road. So right now, people finding us has been a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, location,
Yes.
as we've heard that all our lives.
Yes.
And today, particularly in this county, for sure, the cost of your location, the cost of real estate has really skyrocketed. And I've actually had conversations in the last few months with folks looking to build their own office warehouse kind of building for their business. And they're just blown away with the cost of the land, in particular, trying to find a location that they can afford.
Yes.
So it's very interesting. Well, how do you find the current business climate? I mean, you're new and it's ramping up, but here in Montgomery County, how do you find the business climate?
It's getting better and better every month. Last month was our best month we've had. We're getting more phone calls. I think our name's getting out there. I love Conroe is going in such the right direction with the revival of downtown, and I've been coming through this area my whole life, and I remember when, like, from the highway you saw like a Kroger and an Academy, and that was really about it, and now it's huge. It's a beautiful town. It's a great community. We're always commenting to each other, our family is, on how just genuinely nice everyone is here. We kind of joke and say it's because they're not dealing with the traffic that we were dealing with down south on 45. But no, it's just been all around great.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. We've lived here for 7 years. We came, both of us raised in Houston, and my wife and I, and the people really are. There's still that small town kind of feel.
It really is.
But I am beginning to see the traffic, which was the most important thing I wanted to avoid, was to get away from it. But the traffic is always going to be a challenge. But there is so much building going on right now in the county. I mean, you can't drive down a major road or street without seeing something. Land's been cleared, something's going on.
Yep, the amount that I've seen in just the year that we were, a little over a year that we've been building and been open, it's mind-blowing. It's crazy.
Almost scary. It's going so fast. Well, let me ask you this. You guys put a plan together. You kind of got, well, I don't know what the right word is, kind of pushed in a corner, so to speak. What do we do now? Where your husband was laid off, and but you had a lot of flexibility and that you could change and move. So what is the secret to the success that you've experienced so far?
Stay hungry. I guess, I mean, we know what we want. We know where we want our business to go and how we want it to grow. And so we've set goals every month, and, goals on the amount of customers we get, on the amount of leads that, that turn into actual customers. I mean, really just stay hungry, stay positive, and remember that we're in it together. Husband and wife, we're together a lot, but it's great, so, and we're definitely in it together.
Let me ask you this. We had a husband and a wife, but we interviewed them separately in a business, national in scope, a training business. And they had an interesting philosophy. Business got turned off at 5 o'clock, 5:30, or whatever, something like that. And it was the wife, they're both dynamic people, really excited about what they're doing. But do you have any tips for us that are out there potentially working with a spouse? Or
that is very important. It's funny that you said that, because me being a teacher for so long, I was used to sending emails and stuff to respond to parents at all hours of the night. And when we were first starting, I was like, oh, I need to email this lead, and it was like at 10 o'clock at night. And my husband was like, baby, you can do that tomorrow. We're off the clock. You're not teaching anymore. That email can wait until in the morning. And so it was kind of like, you know what, you're right. But during those business hours, we're all business, We do have conversations outside of it, some, of course, but we try to have quality outside of work time.
Well, they had a hard, fast rule at 5:30. In fact, the story was told that she attended, they had a weekly staff meeting, and she'd come to the meeting and not be informed of something that others already knew because of that personal rule they have, where they had some little meeting after 5:30 in the office, and it always, the employees, they said, what do you mean you don't know this yet? But there's some tips. I grew up in a family business, and our rule, which exceptions were made, if I recall correctly, was we don't discuss business at the dinner table, because we had 3 generations ultimately. I mean, it was truly almost a gathering place for the family to come to work. So I think it's important to draw some boundaries and what works and doesn't work.
Totally agree.
I think it helps the business. It helps everybody you work with as well. There's just no doubt about it. Things seem to work better, especially when it comes to kids. You mentioned your kids help out when they can. Are any of them actively in the business?
No, they both have we have 2 daughters, and they have their own careers, but we, when we need something, they'll help us out. Or like when I was getting ready for the grand opening, they were there helping organize and clean, and they're really good moral support.
Yeah.
And they're really good about, it's not work time.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that now.
I hear what you're saying. Well, Tanya, I can't thank you enough for taking time to join us this morning.
I appreciate it.
And sharing what's going on in your business. I need you to tell us, though, where you're located and how's the best way for us to contact you about what's going on at Line X.
Okay, we are located at 2346 FM 1484 That's been a little bit of confusion because it's also called Mike Meadow Parkway in between Loop 336 and 3083. The best way to contact us is you can either get on our Facebook or just Google us, and we'll pop up. You can give me a shout. I'm almost always there. My husband's there, and our employee, well, he doesn't really answer the phone. He's always busy working. But you can call us, you can email us, you can, even my cell phone's on the business cards, so you can text me. Just whatever, we'll get your questions answered and get you in there.
Now, if I Google you, it's Line X Conroe?
Line X of Conroe, yes,
Okay.
sir.
And what's a phone number you'd like out of all those numbers you want to give out over
Our
there?
shop phone is 936-539-1010.
Okay, there you got it, folks. I think they've got a great business, as I've shared with Tanya offline. Got a great business story, too. So how they came to be where they are, sounds like they've got a wonderful business. And obviously, if you have any needs at all for truck accessories, et cetera, I'd reach out and check what Line X of Conroe has going on. Hope you'll stay with us in the second half of our show. We've got a couple great things coming up. Mailbag. You'll love the title, How in the Hell Do I Adjust to All the Changes That Are Going On? This came from one of our listeners in their business. And then I'll end up the show with one best consult tip of the week entitled, How Good Are You at Connecting with People? So I hope you'll stay with us, and we'll be right back with you.
Remember to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on your computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio, broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
A Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for summer internship opportunities, a Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to grab the mic and be on the air. A Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world all year round. Be an on-air personality, talk show producer, or YouTube, TV, podcast editor. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
An estimated 1 in 10 births will result in a neonatal intensive care stay, also known as the NICU. Overnight, a family can find themselves and their newborn baby in a critical situation. The Mila Foundation financially and spiritually assists families in need. If you would like to volunteer or become a monthly sponsor, please visit us at www.themilafoundation.org. Again, that's www.themilafoundation.org, because every life matters.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to the Weekly Business Hour. At least I hope you've been listening. We had a good discussion and conversation today, really kind of an interesting conversation with Tonya Peterson. She and her husband have a franchise with Line X, the truck accessory company, and new business for them, and it's their first business. So I encourage you, if you didn't listen to the interview or the entire interview, look for it later in the week. It'll be posted as a podcast, and you can find it. Just go look at the Weekly Business Hour page on Facebook, YouTube, or you can check out the one on the station's website at irlonestar.com. Go to the show page, click on the morning shows, and then you can find the Weekly Business Hour and find a link to today's show. And by the way, if you think about it, if you have someone you know that's in business or thinking about starting their own business, please share it with them. This is one of the big ways we get new listeners and we get new content, because I'm always looking for people to send me content, and you can do it. It's very, very easy. Just drop me an email at bestconsult@gmail.com. That's bestconsult@gmail.com. Send us your ideas, your comments, your criticisms, or even if you have your own issue that you'd like us to look into, to talk about, and that's what the mailbag's all about. We'll be getting to that in just a moment. But first of all, I want to touch on business news that you can use, particularly here in the Conroe area of Montgomery County. We've got a lot of businesses, as Tanya mentioned, a lot of business activity here, a lot of things going on. Just this past week, we had businesses, restaurants, OMG, oh my gosh, Wings opened on Loop 336, the Moco Food Hall downtown on Metcalf, Chick-fil-A on Highway 242, and Kale and Kettle on Highway 105 in Montgomery. These are all restaurants that opened recently, and let me tell you, it just keeps coming. Other businesses that opened, interesting. Twisted Tea Farm Store, it's on County Line Road in Willis. The Jolly Roger Pirate Ship, Highway 105, Lake Conroe. This is an entertainment venue, particularly for our youngsters. And I was reading some reviews on it the other day. It really seems like kids just go nuts on the Jolly Roger Pirate Ship, so you may want to check them out. Also here in the city of Conroe, we continue to have activity in our city council and the city charter is being discussed. Pros and cons going back and forth, but encourage you, keep up with this issue because there is some discussion about potentially changing our form of government here. Check the latest Community Impact newspaper for details. Lots and lots of things going on in the area because we've got lots of business going on, so that's what comes with it. Well, mailbag. Brenda sent us a request or an issue, and she said basically, it seems like so many changes are taking place in the marketplace. Which one should I prioritize? And, you know, I can empathize with Brenda and all of us out there, particularly in the small business world. There is so much going on. It seems like sometimes, and I have clients that tell me this, like it's almost another job, maybe not a full-time job, but to keep up with what's happening at the federal, state, and local levels with the government, changes, new rules, new issues, things being discussed, and changes in consumer behavior as a result of COVID and other things, hiring people, training people, and keeping people, as we discussed earlier in the show. So, Brenda, I think there's several things that I would prioritize in most any business. First, e-commerce. E-commerce has become more and more important every year since we started seeing it on a wide scale basis. I know 10, 15 years ago that the percentage in studies that were done of small businesses that even had a website was just low. I mean, it was so new. But fast forward, everybody has a website, or almost everybody. I haven't found a business, don't find them very often, and usually they're just what we call solo entrepreneurs that don't have a full-fledged website and use something like Facebook. But e-commerce, selling your products and services over the internet, as well as through your storefront and other methods. Look at the opportunity not only to have a presence, but use the web, the internet, to sell your products. And social media, as Tanya, our guest, was talking about, how important it is of getting your name out there and helping you sell what you have to offer. Another one is alternative payments. This is like Vimo. I mean, there's PayPal. The list is getting so long, and all the curious names that people give to their businesses, which offer alternative payments. That field is just growing. I've run into situations a couple of times personally this year where the method of payment was one of these alternative, and I wasn't registered or didn't have an account with them, and it was interesting what I had to do to make a payment for something I wanted to buy. Another thing is customer service. Now, there's literally thousands of books, webinars, training sessions available out there everywhere on how to offer better customer service, how to do the customer right to keep them coming back, to share the positive news about your business. The switch, I think, is that, or the change that Brenda's talking about in so many things, fits the idea that on customer service, it just needs to be more personalized and empathetic. That means almost like a one-on-one, and obviously that can get expensive. You may ship hundreds or thousands of orders in any given day, and so you can, well, there are things you can do, though, in what you write, in your labeling, in your communication, in your tracking. And I see this personally in the small world of things and vendors that I do business with for personal things, for my hobbies and other things. There are some companies that have really, really upped the game and tell me every time I do business with how much they appreciate it. Not so much directly, yes, I get a thank you, but how they handle my business from my initial interest, my information seeking, to making the purchase, to verifying the purchase, to getting the purchase delivered wherever I want it delivered. Every step of the way, it's personalized, and I feel like they empathize with me. They understand, and puts a smile on my face, smile on my heart, but I remember them and I want to do business with them. So you really need to make sure you're personalizing, and a lot of this is handled automatically through computers and internet, software systems, processes. But some of it's personal, especially when you pick up a phone and try to contact somebody. Very interesting. And finally, remote work will continue. There is so much out there right now in the news about companies. Mostly we read about larger companies, but this applies even to the smallest company, that people worked remotely during the COVID. They want to stay remote. Maybe not 100%. They're willing to come into the office 1 or 2 days a week, but they want to work remotely. Think about that. How will that impact your business? Not just in your own employees, but what you sell or service. If you're selling consumer to consumer or even business to business, how does it change your communication? How does it change your communication strategy? How do you more efficiently and effectively reach people? Telephone may work, maybe not. Maybe it is text. I had someone the other day just wanted to do business using text messages, and I'm not a huge text message person, but that was the way they had chosen to represent their business. Back and forth, quick response, can't deny it. So the remote work, and I think this is a major shift in employment, that people want to work so much so on remote. So please, Brenda, and everyone that's out there, I hope these 4 ideas help you take a focus and perhaps up your game in these areas. E-commerce, alternative payments, you need to offer some. I don't think you can offer all of them. And customer service, personalized and empathetic. Get your message across. And then finally, just accept the fact that remote work will continue. Understand how it not only affects your employees, but also your business and your strategy for communicating with customers and potential customers. Well, we're going to take our final break of the day, and when we come back, I'm going to offer you my one best consultant tip of the week, which I think is kind of interesting. It's entitled, Is Your Business Breaking the Law? I think you'll find some interesting thoughts and hopefully ideas that you can use in your business today. So please stay with us. We'll be right back with you.
Did you know that there are over 153 million orphans in the world today? The sad reality is 99% of those kids will likely never be adopted. Core Love is an organization right here in Conroe that takes care of orphan children in Haiti, Honduras, and India. We bring the love of Jesus by providing their 6 basic needs of clean water, proper food, healthcare, education, job skills, and a loving home. Visit corelove.org, that's CORELUV.org. Will you help defend the orphan?
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app for your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That is Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
God's Garage is a 501c3 that repairs and gives away cars for free to single moms, widows, and wives of deployed military. You can help God's Garage by donating a vehicle, volunteering your time, or by monetary donation. God's Garage is located at 2106 East Davis, Conroe. If you'd like to learn more about God's Garage, visit our website at godsgarage.org. Or you can contact us and we would be glad to come and make a presentation to your group.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available in Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
You are listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler. I'm your host. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. And just a reminder, if your business is located here in Conroe, Montgomery County, we'd love to have you as a sponsor of the Weekly Business Hour. Now, you can be located outside this area, but I'm not quite sure what kind of penetration we could offer you as far as listenership. I know we have big audiences here in Montgomery as well as Harris County and all across the country, in fact, overseas here and there. But consider being a sponsor. Lone Star Community Radio is our local nonprofit community radio station, and it would be a great thing if you'd sponsor the show and, in a sense, donate to Lone Star Community Radio and all the wonderful talk shows and programming in its place here in our community, which I happen to believe is very, very important. So reach out to me. You can send it here to the station, Rick, R-I-C-K, at irlonestar.com. That's Rick at irlonestar.com. I'll send you back some information, more specifics about being a sponsor for the show. We'd love to have you come on board, so please reach out to me, Rick at irlonestar.com. Well, the one best consult tip of the week, is your business breaking the law? Well, the answer to that question probably is yes. Somewhere, somehow, you're most likely breaking the law. And why is that? Well, even if you are an individual like I tend to be, that I want to dot the I's, cross the T's, I don't want to have anything such as the IRS or anyone else, the sales tax people or the labor law, Federal Labor Act, come down on me, because obviously, if for no other reason, they have unlimited resources, so to speak. And here I am, a small business when I was in business. Same is going to be for almost all of the listeners we have. But you're breaking the law, because we all know it. There are too many laws. There are too many regulations. And yes, certain businesses get some relief because the law doesn't apply to, say, anyone with less than 50 employees or less than 10 employees or less than 5 employees, or different laws regulations have these breakpoints. But the bottom line is we're all subject to laws in our business. One of the areas, just kind of focus on it for a moment, is labor law. I mean, look at how many labor laws there are at a federal and state level. There are child labor laws, right? Have to have people a certain age, above a certain age, to work for you. OSHA. I haven't heard a whole bunch about OSHA, but, they set guidelines primarily as their mission to keep workers physically safe in the workplace. But they sure have a lot of guidelines, which is another word, I guess, for regulations. They require employers to disclose to workers they have a right to seek training or an OSHA inspection and how to report any safety concern. You got these posters that you're required to put on the wall in your break room or a place that employees will see them. All kinds of things. The Fair Labor Standards Act deals with overtime. Work 40 hours and you're due time and a half at least. And many businesses try to get around that with the white collar exemptions and things. And I've been involved in some cases and it's a very, very challenging standard to meet to do it. I'm not saying you can't do it, have salaried employees, but you need to be aware of the laws. The most important thing and the real point I'm trying to get across to you is make sure your business has an attorney, a business attorney, someone that's familiar with your business. And I know the first thing that pops into most people's heads when I say that is, oh, that's going to cost me. It's just too expensive. And I think one of the reasons we feel that way, because I've been on both sides of that table, is the fact that, an attorney does things that really don't show up at the bottom line. But let me assure you, if you ever have an audit or a violation or an investigation, that will show up in your bottom line, especially if you get a fine. That will definitely show up. But it's the amount of time and the issues it creates, the impact on potentially your employees' morale. Even customers and vendors can find out about it. And I'm not talking about people that are really breaking the law intentionally. It's the unintentional that I get concerned about because it becomes a huge issue you didn't even really know, or you may have thought, well, but you didn't take the time to get the resources, such as a good business lawyer, to give you advice on what to do. Another place for good advice, there are these business organizations and groups, Chamber of Commerce, industry groups. They all have information about laws that your business has to comply with. Some have much better than others, but you can find a lot of this, and you can always do a search online. But it is part of being in business in America today. We have laws that affect our businesses, and the labor law is just one of very many out there. So I encourage you, pay attention to it, and potentially hire a business lawyer. Once a year, sit down with him or her and just review on new laws, new rules, new regulations that may have come up and impact the way you do things. Help them strategically or otherwise design your workplace, etc., your communications, to do it the most effective, simplest way possible. So at the end, you're being effective with particularly, your employees. You want that communication to be understood. It's in your best interest, particularly when it comes to accidents. But again, investigations, audits, people questioning their pay, it's all negative. I've seen it throughout my career in businesses. It doesn't work for you. It definitely works against you. Well, thank you. Thank you to Tanya Pederson for joining us. Thank you for taking time to listen to us. Put a note on your calendar. Next week, 11 a.m., we'll be here on Monday. And as I said before, look for the video podcast of today's program on the Weekly Business Hour page, irlonestar.com, or onebestconsult.com. Any of these will help you find what you need. And until next week, stay engaged and keep your focus on what's important in your business. Thanks.